It's time for match 18 of LPL 2020. Jaffna Stallions against the Colombo Kings. Let's build our fantasy team then on my 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPNcricinfo. I'm Ronu Kapoor and Russel Arnold, as always, is set to join me. Right, last game of the league phase for the Jaffna Stallions. Colombo Kings have one more on the last day of the league phase. Both teams have already qualified. So let's go to our pro tip, which tells us that we should consider players like Shoaib Malik and Isuru Udana, who you would call underperformers this LPL 2020, because they could come back into form in a game that doesn't see much pressure for either team, given they've both secured a semi-final spot. Now, does that make sense to you, Russel Arnold?
It certainly does. And these are players who have a lot of pride about themselves. And since they've been quiet, you cannot write them off for a whole tournament. Semi-finals time is when the big players get up. So with almost there. So yeah, I would certainly back players like that and hoping that they come good, which will be good for their team and also for them.
All right, let's see where they fit into our fantasy team. For that, a quick word on player availability. Dhananjay De Silva might not be available for this one after getting injured, so keep an eye out for team news after the toss. Let's go to our team. Before that, quick reminder, if you haven't been playing already, the My 11 Circle app offers you 100 credits to build your fantasy team. 4 categories of players that you must choose from: batsmen, bowlers, wicket keepers, and all-rounders. Every player's individual credit value is listed on the app. You can pick a maximum of 7 players from one team in any particular contest, and we'll give you 4 substitute options as well. So stay tuned for those. Let's go to our top picks, and our captain choice is Wanindu Hasaranga. If you're following our videos, you wouldn't be surprised, because every time the Jaffna Stallions play, Wanindu Hasaranga is a premium position in our team. He's captain once again. He's at an excellent economy rate. He's managed to be one of the leading wicket takers of the tournament. And with the bat, he contributes a few handy runs at a decent strike rate too. Dinesh Chandimal is vice captain. Again, no surprises. He's got over 200 runs in the tournament. He's averaging over 70. And in the reverse fixture, that's against the Jaffna Stallions, he played that very fine 68 not out of 51 to take his team home in a chase. So our captain is Wanindu Hasaranga and our vice captain is Dinesh Chandimal. They give you double and 1.5 times the points respectively. So make sure you pick your captain and vice captain well. Tisara Pereira is there. No surprises either. Whenever we see the Jaffna Stallions in action, Tisara Pereira is never far away from our top picks. And he is one of the standout players of the tournament. Who can forget that 44 ball 97 not out against the Vikings? There's also the 28 ball 68 against the Tuskers. So he might have had a quiet couple of games after that, but we're not going to keep this out of our selections. Andre Russell is there. So too is Qais Ahmed. You know, Andre Russell's managed that 19 ball 65 not out in a rain curtailed game. He's also picked up 5 wickets with a pretty decent strike rate. So let's keep Andre Russell in our team no matter what. Qais Ahmed, the Afghan leg spinner, continues to be a revelation in T20 leagues wherever he features. And he's also bowled the most economical spell of the tournament, 2 for 8 of his 4 overs. Has a 3-wicket haul to his name, and he's not far from our top picks. Wanindu Hasaranga as captain, Dinesh Chandimal vice captain, Tisara Pereira, Andre Russell, and Qais Ahmed among our top picks. Do you like the sound of those, Russ?
Very much, very much. That's a top 5 indeed. But there are a few other players that you should also consider having them there, because they will be in the forefront of things. Avishka Fernando, Dushmantha Chamira, they're all doing very, very well. So, yeah, I've thrown a couple of names out there, but I always keep telling you, go by your gut. Go by your gut. But Ronak, this is your gut, I reckon, or your statsman's gut, to be honest.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think from what if you're following our videos, guys, through the course of this LPL, Russel Arnold's gut has got you a good amount of points. So I would go Russel Arnold's gut, maybe the statsman's gut, and then my gut. That's how I'd go. The Russ has been pretty good. Let's go to our differential picks and the 2 players we featured in our pro tip feature over here, Shoaib Malik and Isuru Udana. Now we know how good Shoaib Malik is. He's got a wealth of experience in T20 cricket, the 38-year-old veteran from Pakistan. He has had a very good PSL 2020, maybe a quiet LPL, just 68 runs so far. But come at the big games, never rule out the big players like Russel Arnold said. Isuru Udana, the star Sri Lankan all-rounder, you'd have thought he'd go for top billing after being the only Sri Lankan in the IPL. Slightly underperforming in this season, but again, let's not rule out a few handy knocks with the bat and of course his primary role with the ball. So Shoaib Malik and Isuru Udana in our differential picks. Our full team does see a place for Avishka Fernando, so too Dinesh Chandimal, who of course is our vice-captain choice. Laurie Evans is in that team, Shoaib Malik, Tisara Pereira, Wanindu Hasaranga, who we are backing as captain, Andre Russell and Isuru Udana. We've got Qais Ahmed, Usman Shinwari and Duan Olivier. Now our substitutes include Minod Banuka, Vijay Kant, Viaskant and Daniel Bell Drummond along with Dushmanta Chamira. And if Chamira plays, he can replace Isuru Udana. Now I know Russ is a big fan of Dushmanta Chamira. So would you want him in that team no matter what, Russell?
You're reading my mind. Yes. But not for Isuru Udana though.
Okay.
Because I like the equation we spoke about earlier. You do not count him out. So I'm backing him to contribute. Laurie Evans is the spot that I would go for in thinking Dushmanta Chamira. If you're thinking of replacing a faster bowler with Chamira, maybe for Duan Olivier. But I like an out-of-the-box choice in there. So maybe Laurie Evans and Duan Olivier to be out, Dushmanta Chamira. And the out-of-the-box one is Vijay Kant, Viaskant for me.
All right. So find some room for Chamira. Come on. What's he doing on our substitutes bench stats, boys? Go for Russel Arnold's guard. Chamira looking good. Make sure you find a place for him. And of course, check final team news. There could be changes given the situation both teams find themselves in. They've qualified for the semi-finals. We'll be back with plenty more from Russel Arnold as LPL 2020 approaches its closing stages on My 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPNcricinfo.